Guys, we're live. Welcome to this last day, first session in Sci Solution Foundation course on nature and life. Hey Sahana, good morning. How are you doing today? It's pretty chilly here, chilling cold outside. Exactly 7 a.m. How is the sound? Check. Tulika, good morning. Yeah, Tulika, I saw your question and we'll be addressing that in a while. Very interesting question and very needful question, I must say, because we have a lot of confusions in our mind about the thoughts and corresponding innervation and vitality consumption. So I'll clarify that. And today is the day of thoughts. It's a unition day. So we'll be going deeper into the thought aspects. Yeah, I've shared this music you guys requested yesterday. So through Google Drive, I had to share it because it's a little heavy file to share it directly on WhatsApp. So you need to download it because I'll be deleting it in a day or two. Hi Tathapi, good morning. Nandini, Vikrant, good morning. Hi Ranga, good morning. Right, so let's start our silence, and after that we'll start the session today. The sound didn't come. Just a second. I need to check the. I just need to check the projectors. It should come.
FM mode. Aux mode.
Right guys, sorry for this interruption. So we'll do the silence for 90 seconds and we'll start our session. Good morning, first session of the last day. So Pooja hasn't arrived and also Asha. So they will be joining maybe in a while. So today is the Unison Day. And Unison, the meaning of Unison is working together, maybe being apart. So we all are working in our spheres together and somewhere we are contributing to each other for sure. And this is not a metaphysical explanation. I said that earlier also, that everybody, whoever is working somewhere right now is contributing to us for sure. If we go deeper and try and analyze that. I gave that example that some person is working in the Facebook office right now, some engineer, to support Facebook working, and that is contributing our connection. Somebody in the internet connection, somebody is working, that is contributing in our connection. So you can actually go on and on explaining all the contributors of this journey. So this is what is unison. The moment we realize that we are a part of co-evolution, so co-evolution is a fact. We cannot deny it. But conscious co-evolution is a support to our life to sync with nature. So we are in a journey to co-evolve consciously. That is the objective of this course. So with that note, I'd like to share that today we'll be having few more chapters which are there in the study material under the heading of, under the module of Unison, and we'll be going in a different order than the order recommended or given in the reference note or the study material. So we'll start with the last item. So last item there is dialectical meditation. So we'll start with that. Now here, yeah, Asha has joined. Thanks Asha for joining so early. So I'm sure it's a trouble for you, but it will be revision for you about the dialectical meditation, because you have already attended this session earlier in level 2 course last year. So, just in case if you are not feeling fresh, then you can go for a nap again, but in case if you are interested, then you are welcome for this revision also. Pooja hasn't arrived yet. Right, so Pooja needs to continue with the recording. So, right, we will be talking about the dialectical meditation. Now, dialectical meditation session will not be focusing primarily on the practice, but we will try and understand why meditation, because the why is the main aspect of this course. Each and every step we are trying to explain the why behind. So, why meditation? That explanation is involved in this particular session. And before going to this, I must answer Tulika's question. Tulika raised a very needful question. Let me read it for you. It's in WhatsApp group. So I did not answer it there, thinking that I'll be giving it in the live session. Right, here it goes. Today afternoon, I missed the discussion on dreams. Just now watched. I have one query here. If we start noticing more things around us, in figure you mentioned P and Q, due to expansion of our sensory capabilities, here eyes, then is it not that it will lead to more thinking and more thought creation, hence not making the mind poised as desired in order to conserve more vitality? Kalyan, please clarify this point. Also, dreams are both scary and non-scary. During a scary dream experience, the heartbeat increases, and there are a lot of physiological impacts. It implies the person could not attain the deep sleep. So, how can this problem be addressed? Very beautiful question and nicely pointed out. So, here in this particular session of dialectical meditation, there is a part of rational goal also, because we are talking about the rational analysis and rational process of thinking. Now, when we do that, our number of thoughts in the mind will substantially reduce. Now, noticing is a conscious activity, it is a rational activity. That doesn't bring lot of array of thoughts. Now, when you go in an irrational way of thinking, then the number of thoughts which are not identified by your conscious mind gets multiplied really. And now the example of irrational thoughts, any thought which disturbs you is the irrational thought. Now, that particular piece of irrational thought will bring lot of associated thoughts which you will not be able to notice from the conscious mind. You will not be able to notice it in the conscious mind, but it will be a burden on your vitality. And each thought occupies a lot of vitality for sure. Now, when you start noticing the things, when your sensory perceptions are increased, by default you have increased your vitality conservation and your noticing capability gets expanded, and that time the notice is very concrete notice. The perception, in case of eye, this is very much understandable, but understandable how? If I am looking at this finger, then everything is blurred. So my attention is purely here. The more I am attentive, more clearer this finger will be, and more blurred will be the other things. So this is what is noticing. Now, when you start noticing multiple things, then it is a clearer view that you get, and that doesn't bring any beyond conscious pressure of thinking. Is that clear? I'll take the next part of your question. Just try and understand that this noticing will not bring any associated pressure on the vitality. Now coming to the scary dreams. Now dream, whatever it is, it will be a toll on the vitality and the sleep will be disturbed sleep. The dream in the sleep is not a quality sleep. Now doesn't give a quality sleep. Now if the dream is scary, then definitely the vitality consumption will be higher and it will be a problem for the conservation of vitality. Now why the scary dreams come? Because of the irrational thought pattern which troubles you from the conscious mind to the beyond conscious mind too. So if you are suffering from the irrational thought pattern, then definitely those irrational thought patterns will be expanded to your beyond conscious mind and will create lot of unnecessary thoughts in the mind. And those unnecessary thoughts will be emerging during the sleep, and that time you will be having scary dreams. So the foundation needs to be addressed, the rational thinking pattern. The moment you opt a rational thought pattern, that moment onwards you will start repairing the every thoughts of yours. So when the thoughts are becoming rational, then associated thoughts which were being brought by the irrational thought pattern will be reduced substantially, and you will be free from any kind of scary thoughts or fearful thoughts or anger thoughts, and then you will be finding a poise inside and the dreamless sleep, right? So I'll see if any response came by that time. So if any question is coming to your mind, keep posting, because now after some time in this presentation itself you will be finding some related connection and related aspects to be discussed. So that will be relevant. So you can go ahead posting your questions. Right guys, so young guys, Ranga and Tathapi, meditation is very much needful. Why? Let's understand. And we will try to find out how also after this. Guys, let me know if the screen is clear. So we will start with physiology. Now this is not clear as I understand. Do you want me to close up the screen? Should I zoom the screen a bit, or you will be able to understand it? Zooming will take me away from the screen, but you will be able to see the screen. Just tell me why for zooming and no for as it is let it go, because few of the screens in this presentation may need your attention. Y for zooming, N for as it is. Okay. Right. So I suppose you guys need that zooming. Great. So I'll be zooming it. Give me a moment. Is it okay now? Just let me know. Yeah, Nandini asked that, so bedwetting in children is also related to emotional needs or fearful thoughts. Definitely. So that can be addressed in a specific manner. So we need to analyze the state of the child deeply before commenting the specific reason. Right, guys. So now it is better than before, but I'm sure it's not visible completely. Doesn't matter. I'll explain it. So you see, there is a nervous system. Is this the in the reference note? Yes, in the reference note you will be finding it. Yeah, I'll be zooming it on the iPad also, Vikrant. Milk protein also causes bedwetting. Right, Asha. We can discuss that later on. Right. So right. So physiologically, let's understand how the brain is connected. This is known to us, but this is a revision. So nervous system is connected through two nervous systems. One is the CNS, and other is the PNS, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Now the central nervous system has got two parts in it. One is the brain and other is the spinal cord. Now the spinal cord through the peripheral nervous system is connected to the somatic nervous system and autonomous nervous system. Now autonomous nervous system further distributed into sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So throughout the body the nervous system is spread across through the spinal cord. Ultimately the headquarter is this brain. So I'll just zoom all the parts now. This is the headquarter. Then it is through spinal cord, it is connected to the peripheral nervous system, and the peripheral nervous system is connected to the somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system, and then sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Right. So here the importance of brain can be understood very easily. Now here we are talking about meditation, which directly impacts the mind, and mind is primarily controlled by our brain, but not only by brain, just for your information and understanding. Now let's see how physiologically the brain is distributed. The brain is distributed into two halves. We know left hemisphere and right hemisphere, as we understand. Now the left hemisphere does analytical activities. Now analytical activities means which has got steps involved, the like rational thinking, as we are understanding rational thinking, language. So language also has got steps involved. If you wish to learn a language, then you have to start from the letter, then words, then sentences, and all those stuffs come as steps. Mathematics also steps, calculation steps, sequencing steps. Then direction also, if you want to navigate somewhere, then also you need to have steps. Go straight, then left, then right, go straight. Now Google navigators that we use. Fear and limiting belief is also subjected to steps, because without a reason fear cannot come, or limiting beliefs also cannot come. But that reason may be identified sometime or may not be identified sometime. Then lyrics of song is also a kind of activity that is done in the that is captured in the left hemisphere. Now the right hemisphere is a kind of holistic activity that we do, which for which the logical steps cannot be identified, but definitely it is there inside somewhere, that could be explored with deep analysis and all those stuff, but humankind couldn't reach that level of exploration to decipher the activities of this portion of the brain. Now that is creative thinking. How exactly the creative thinking evolves? Here in this course we tried to explain the emergence. So those emergences are quite in sync with the right hemisphere activities. But this right hemisphere activities often get blocked. The activities of the right hemisphere often get blocked because of the left hemisphere activities. So we need to bring a sync of with the left hemisphere activity without diminishing the importance of the left hemisphere. We need to understand. So the logical activities are needful in the body, in the life, but the logical activities should be dialectical enough to support the right hemisphere activity, which is holistic activity. Now holistic activity in terms of creative thinking, intuitive thinking, instant knowing, holistic picture, perceiving an holistic picture, artistic executions, enjoying the rhythms, visualization, sense of space. So 3D sense is actually executed by the right hemisphere. Then comes tunes of the songs. Now tunes of the songs is actually captured in the right hemisphere. Now as far as the capability is concerned, the right hemisphere is a humongous capability, is having a humongous capability. So that capability can be understood if we focus on the last point, tune of the songs and lyrics of the songs. Now the lyrics of the songs, in many cases we forget the lyrics, but we don't forget the tune. Tune, we think that yes, this tune is known to me, but I cannot remember the lyric. So that shows the left hemisphere is weaker than the right hemisphere for sure. And I will come to the rationale why this the hemisphere region is included in this research and what is the rationale behind it. Now on the point of lyrics and tune, I must share this also, that the names of the people that we meet is registered there in the left hemisphere, and the faces of the people is registered in the right hemisphere of the mind. So now you can correlate that you have these experiences in life, that you see a person who is known to you, but you don't remember the name of that person. This is because of the weaker execution of left hemisphere, I must say. Weaker execution of left hemisphere. This can be also bettered to come in sync with left and right hemisphere without diminishing the importance of left hemisphere. Now this is the rationale of this correlation. There were a lot of researches happened on brain injured patients. As you see, the facial recognition accuracy by both the hemispheres on 3 split brain patients. So 3 groups of split brain patient, this was experimented. Now I will tell you what is this experiment about. This experiment actually shows that, okay, on whom this is done is primarily the war injuries. In the war, actually, soldiers do lose their some part of the brain due to the shell or fire of the bullets, and all those things happen. So they survive, but with a missing part in the brain. So those patients were selected for this research, and this was examined that how accurately they recognize the face, and the face recognition is driven by the right hemisphere. That is the conclusion of this particular research. As you see the green bars, can you see the green bars? So these green bars are of the patients who has their right hemisphere, and the blue bars are of the patients who doesn't have the right hemisphere. So this particular graph shows that the patients with right hemisphere shows better facial recognition in comparison to the patients with left hemisphere, right? So these kind of practical researches shows that the dispositions of the activities and the hemispheric regions are quite dialectical and acceptable. Now, in nature cure, we understood two basic principles: the voice of the organism and the law of unity. The voice of the organism and the law of unity. Now, if you go a little deeper to understand what is voice of the organism, then voice of the organism is a logical steps. It is driven by purely reasons. So you need to reason out and find out your voice of the organism. Why is it like this? Why am I getting a bad feeling or good feeling? This analysis is involved in the exercise of the voice of the organism, right? Now the voice of the organism is definitely an activity of the left hemisphere of the brain. Because of the structure of this activity, because this structure of the activity is logical, stepwise structure. Now the right hemisphere governs the law of unity understanding, because the law of unity understanding is about the larger perception, going beyond the symptoms, going to the cause. So when we go deeper into the aspects of whole, the wholeness, it doesn't necessarily follow some logical steps. So there comes the expansion of the uno to unison. So at the first phase of life, we need to focus on understanding the voice of the organism better. The moment we are excelled in the voice of the organism, we need to start exercising the law of unity as well. So the importance of both the hemispheres cannot be denied. Now, as why this is included in this particular presentation is, normally meditation is claimed to be a right hemisphere activity, and importance of logical mind or the left hemisphere is normally diminished in the discussion of meditation. But the fact is something else. We need to understand, at the first step, we need to understand why we should do meditation dialectically. Now, why does have different layers? There are non-dialectic explanation of whys also. Now, using our reasoning capability, if we wish to go deeper, then we will be able to identify what is dialectic and what is non-dialectic explanation. So there are explanations available which are non-dialectic also, claiming that these are the explanation of the why. So we need to be very dialectic in our approach, very rational in our approach, because the rationality is an absolute term. This is not any person specific aspect, but this can be explored by everybody. So when we explore the dialectic capability of us, the rational capability of us, then we will be able to identify if this particular explanation is dialectic or non-dialectic. You need not to have any guidance to identify that. You should exercise this to understand the dialectic and non-dialectic aspects. So all in all, for meditation, the whole brain exercise is very much needed, and in this presentation we are trying to understand why meditation using our logical capability, rational entity. Pooja has joined. Pooja, you have missed around 15 minutes of the session, and as you see on the screen, it is a zoomed screen on the projection because we need to see few of the detailed aspects on the screen. That is why we have zoomed it. That's why you are seeing that this is some different kind of look of the session where Kalyan is missing, but Kalyan's voice is there. So I am pretty here. Okay. So now as you see on the screen, activities and brain waves. Activities and brain waves. Our brain emits waves. Our brain emits waves. Now those waves can be measured also. Similar to the ECG, there is another measurement that is called EEG, electroencephalograph. Using electroencephalograph, the brain waves can be measured. Now, we emit different patterns of the brain waves at different time, depending upon the activities that we perform. Depending upon the activities that we perform, we emit different patterns of the brain waves. Now, the brain wave is categorized in 4 categories: beta, alpha, theta, delta. Now, the brain waves can be, since it is a wave, those who are science students, they can understand that the waves can be measured with their frequencies. Now those frequencies are nothing but the speed kind of things, and the speed is measured, this particular speed and the frequency is measured in the scale of CPS, cycles per second. Now in these categories, as it is categorized, 14 to 21 CPS comes under the beta level, and 7 to 14 CPS comes under the alpha level, and then 4 to 7 CPS comes under the theta level, and 0 to 4 comes under the delta level. So these are the 4 categories of brain waves, the patterns of the brain waves that we emit. Now alpha level is considered as the neutral level. Alpha level is considered as the neutral level, and here the number of thoughts and the brain wave are related in this relation, the directly proportional relation. The frequencies of the brain wave is directly proportional to the thought accumulated at that particular state of mind. The frequencies in the brain wave is directly proportional to the thought accumulation in the brain at that particular state of mind. So I see a question from Nandini: can these emitted brain waves be perceived by others? Humanly not possible. humanly not possible without that instrument, but there is a rationale why I am including this instrument things. The next slide will explain that. See, in normal condition, this is related to Tulika's question also. In a normal condition, the rate of our thoughts, the science says that 120 thoughts approximately per second we have in a normal condition, everybody of us. So plus minus few could be, but this is approximately 120 thoughts per seconds. Can you imagine the number? And how many thoughts you can identify at any point in time? You can identify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, but more than 90% of the thoughts are not identified. Where those are generated? Those are generated in that beyond conscious portion, which are disturbing us. And these disturbances occur when this conscious thoughts conflicts with the beyond conscious thoughts, and transform the beyond conscious thoughts and exaggerate the intensity of vitality consumption there. Right. Now, let us take a relook on this particular chart, where we have seen the activities here which we have not explained in the previous chart. So, beta level has got different activities, like from normal to anger to fear to tense to quarreling. So, all these activities are beta level activities. Tulika asked that rate of thoughts varies with age or not. It depends, but the variation will not be too much after one attains the maturation of the physical maturation, I must say, because these are quite similar rate this goes, the cognitive maturation and the physical maturation. So, after we pass through the stage, the rate of thoughts will be quite similar, that generation of the thoughts, but at the beginning definitely the thoughts are being formed, the structuring of the thoughts are going on, that time it differs definitely. Right. Now, coming to the alpha stage is a neither awaken nor sleeping stage, deep concentrated stage. This is a neutral stage as well. So, as you see, the wave pattern of the alpha stage is very smooth and uniform, but the wave pattern in the beta stage is very haphazard. It's too much of speed and too much of accumulation. So, the brain waves, as complicated it is, more the accumulation of the thoughts will be. Now, the theta level is the sleep level, where the brain waves will be very lesser, 4 to 7 CPS. Now, it includes the dreaming also. Now, if the dreaming is scary, then the frequencies will go up during the sleep also, and frequencies will go up, then the vitality consumption also will go up. We need to understand this. The delta level definitely is a problematic level at times, the brain dead condition, deeper sleep condition, all these are brain dead condition, right. And as you see, the nature of the wave is very small and almost dead. So, a straight line will be a dead state, there will not be any wave. So, very less wave in these cases, deep sleep, coma, brain wave. Definitely this stage is highest in the vitality conservation in the alive stage, right, but we do not have any conscious sense of that stage, and this is the ideal stage for body to do the repairing. If you can have deeper sleep, then the repairing will be very faster. If you can have deeper sleep, then the repairing will be very faster. Now, the thoughts need vitality, as we know already, more the thoughts, more the innervation. Now, the dialectic objective of meditation is to reduce the innervation. Now, to reduce the innervation is the single objective of meditation. Right, guys? Any question? Please let me know. Otherwise, I'll proceed, because this split brain and the brain wave are two important understanding you must have before proceeding with the roots. So, this is how we are going. Now, why portion is completed. Now, I will continue with this zoomed position, because coming up few of the slides need, one slide at least, it needs your little attention. What I can do, I can zoom it also. Should I come back to the original position of the video? Are you comfortable, guys? Y for yes, N for no, come back to the original position. You post that, and I'll take a small break for 2 minutes. I'll see your response, then I'll switch back accordingly. Okay, guys, I see responses as Y 1, 2, 3, 4 and N are 3. So, guys, Y wins. So, we'll continue with this. Was that the deal? Y means continuing. Can anybody remind me? Was that the deal? Y means continuing the same? Right. So, now the thought reduction roots. There is no prize for guessing it, Thoughts are equivalent to vitality that we just saw. So, the thought reduction roots also will be in the same channel: physical, physiological and psychological. So thoughts are not actually, at the beginning, if you remember, that brain is definitely the headquarter of our existence, and most of the thoughts are generated by the brain, at the brain rather, but the thoughts are not confined at the brain only. So thoughts are generated everywhere, and we need to address it through the easiest channel first, because the physical and physiological thought generation is also a great number of thought generations. So the moment we take care of this formed thing first, then the formless thoughts also gets bettered rather. Okay, I see a question. In between, you can come to original self if there is not much of things on computer to show. Okay, okay. Yes. I understand, Tulika. Yeah, we can. So what I was saying is that physical, physiological and psychological, these three roots are to be addressed to reduce the number of thoughts in our mind, because physical and physiological generation of thoughts disturb us a lot. So let's address, because those are the easier option. Those are the easier option to address the thought reduction initiative. Now it starts with right breathing pattern. It starts with right breathing pattern. Now the right breathing pattern, as you see, the breathing should inflate and deflate the diaphragm. The lung should be filled when we inhale, and it should come outward when we inhale. It should expand, and exhaling means squeezing the lung and clearing all the toxin. So this breathing pattern of late is compromised. This breathing pattern of late is compromised, and I'll give you some number to prove this point. You know, in an ideal breathing, we have 4 steps. We have not started any notes today, so let's start a note. So ideal breathing, for the title let us keep little space. Ideal breathing equal time for each steps. For each step, equal time, and there are 4 steps involved. What are those? We know it already. Inhalation, inhale, then hold, then exhale, then hold. And ideally, this should take at least 3 seconds. For an ideal breathing, ideal deep breathing I am talking about. Now that gives us a number 12 seconds per cycle of one breathing. 12 seconds for one cycle of breathing. That means in 1 minute we should breathe 5 times at least, and the data shows that we actually breathe 10 to 12 times in a minute. So this is what is the alarming thing as far as our breathing is concerned, because we are working a lot in terms of breathing. We should do it in 5 times, but we are doing it for 12 times, 10 to 12 times, double of that. So a conscious breathing is the solution. Conscious breathing is the solution. So conscious breathing, more we opt, better for our vitality conservation. So during the meditation exercise, we must inculcate a habit of breathing deep, because that would actually conserve a lot of vitality, and that would release a lot of thoughts also, because due to shallow breathing there is a load on the thought accumulation also. So the physiological generation of the thoughts can be reduced. Am I clear, guys? Next is the posture. The importance of the spine we have already understood. So we need to acknowledge that consciously. During the meditation posture, during the meditation exercise, our posture should be consciously relaxed. As you see on the screen, there are 3 postures. We should not, in the first image, it is very upright, forcefully upright. This is also not good. The C is slouch, where the spine is pressurized because of its default organ pressure. This is also not good. Then this is the ideal way of sitting, where you are poised. There is no exertion on your spine, and that gives a lot of relaxation to your vitality. Vitality consumption will be reduced and conservation will be more. Okay, Nandini says that please explain relation between thought reduction and breathing. Right. Now we need to understand the shallow breathing has got a connection with the thought pattern. When you are scared or when you are in anger, that time the breathing will be very shallow. You will be shallow breathing means you are breathing very fast. So cycles will be very short term. So one inhalation hold, exhalation hold will be finished within few seconds, which should ideally be at least 12 seconds. Now, so the thought and breathing is correlated. Thought and breathing is correlated. Now here there is a theory called facial feedback theory, which says that when you feel happy, you smile or laugh, when you feel happy, you smile or laugh. Now the reverse is also true. When you smile or laugh, you will tend to feel happy. Because necessarily being happy, being relaxed, being homeostatic, being neutral doesn't need a reason that way. It is your natural position, natural state. The joyfulness doesn't need a reason. So this physical modification, if you do consciously, there will be an impact on this metaphysical or the formless aspect, which is thoughts. So breathing, when we improve the breathing, then we inculcate a relaxing state, and which actually impact on the thought. Our perception gets improved, our contemplation gets increased, and we find the things which were scary and which were creating some anger will be very much normal, not to trigger those emotions. So there is a facial feedback theory behind it, which explains that if you improve on the physical and physiological aspect, your psychological aspects also will tend to get improved. There is the connection with the structure governs function aspect. If you improve the structure, the functions get improved. It is a materialistic route of addressing the problem. Right. So after the posture, let's see, Kajal joins now. I'm not sure how long he is going to be here, as he informed me that Sunday also is working day suddenly. So welcome Kajal. We expect you to listen to this lecture. This is a very needful lecture as far as the thought reduction is concerned and the meditation is concerned. So we are trying to understand why meditate. So now the food aspect, the physical physiological combination. Food decision is a physical aspect and food digestion is a physiological aspect. So we know by now, in the phase also we understood that right food, what is right food. So for right meditation and impactful meditation, your food should be the right food. If you are having a spicy food or very innervating food, then you will not be able to pay attention in the meditation process, and the meditation, the output of the meditation will be very wrong output, the negative output in fact. So food is, we have discussed a lot about food. Now coming to the memory. Now memory is such an aspect of life which actually influences any time. You can correlate yourself that if you had a good memory, you feel very joyful. If you had a bad memory, that disturbs you. So in our present thought state, memory impacts a lot. Now we need to dialectically use this impact of memory for the betterment of our thought state, to attain a reduction of the thoughts. Now have you ever thought that why a happy state gives us a good feeling? Because the voice of the organism is a good feeling. Now why a happy state gives us a good feeling? Now that good feeling is because of the reduction in the thoughts, because we are so engrossed in that particular instance which is triggering that happiness, that reduces our attention on other aspects. So because of that reduction of the load of thoughts which were removed, which were disengaged due to the excessive attention on a single aspect makes us relaxed, and that relaxation makes us feel good. So we need to understand this very dialectically, that memory can be used to actually reduce the thought burden of the present as well. So in particular, the good memories. So for meditation also, we need to use the good memories very dialectically to reduce the thought burden. So this is for a dialectic meditation process, you need to actually filter out all the good memories to use in the meditation practice. Now coming to the goal, rational goal. I told that I will be touching upon this rational goal while answering Tulika's question, that scary dreams and all those aspects and the irrational thought pattern that we may have. So now the rational goal is very important. So we were talking about the memory. Memory is a past recollection, but we have these three areas, right? Past, present and future. Now we have an impression in our mind about the future as well. We cannot deny that. Now that future impression can be improved in our mind going rational about it. Now I will give you two examples, very relatable example. Here example of 5 students having a single goal, scoring high in examination. Now the first student had this objective of getting a job to score high in the exam. The second student had this objective to impress somebody to get a job. The third student has this objective to get admission in the next standard or next degree. Focus lost? Okay, of the camera you means? It will get adjusted, autofocus is on, so in some time it will get adjusted. So, and the fourth student is aiming to score high for an award, and the fifth student does it to acquire some knowledge. Now I need not to explain, you can understand that the fifth student is the most rational, which connects that objective. It will get better screen if it is blurred, it takes little time to get better. Yes, now it's better. So what I was saying is, these 5 students, if you compare, then definitely the fifth student is the most rational student, because the studying is connected rationally to the knowledge with the least distance. So the objective and the purpose should have the least distance. Now why am I saying this? Because it will have least number of thoughts in the mind. As you see in this figure, the area covered by these geometrical figures, this is a triangle, this is a trapezium, this is another trapezium, this is another trapezium, this is another trapezium. So the area is increasing, and this area depicts the number of thoughts being generated because of this reason of the objective. So objective and reason are to be connected in terms of understanding the thought accumulation. Now you take up any of these examples to impress. If somebody is studying, definitely it is understandable that impression, to impress somebody, studying is a foolish idea, because you cannot guarantee that you study more or score high. First of all, scoring high is not assured. Scoring high will not assure further that impression also. So to impress somebody, to get somebody's love or affection, if you are doing this thing, this is a foolishness, and it will generate lot of insecurity within, that will I be able to really impress? These number of questions will be generating in your mind, and that is why this is irrational objective, because it is not connecting directly with the objective, with the purpose. So because of this reason, if we make our life simple enough to make the all steps very rational, with a strong connection between objective and reason to that, to attain that. So these are the reasons, and this is the single objective. As I was saying few minutes back, that the why can be non-dialectically also explained. So if you ask these 5 students that why you want to score high, so they will be giving an answer, but the most dialectic answer is this one. Most dialectic answer is this last one. So our dialectical sense or rational sense will actually help us to reduce the number of thoughts, further conserving the vitality. Let's take another example. I'll just bring the image first so that the blurriness goes away, and it is quite similar, but the objective here is buying clothes, and the most rational reason is climatic protection. The clothes are for climatic protection. Now somebody is doing it for looking good, to look good, somebody is doing to impress somebody, somebody is doing to get some facilities, somebody is doing to contest in a fashion show. Now the cloth, we know in the fashion show even, the cloth is not the primary aspect. Having a great cloth will not assure you winning the contest. So lot of thoughts will be generated for sure in the mind if you have that kind of reason in mind to buy a cloth. Cloth is directly connected with the climatic protection. So if you are connecting your objective with the reason clearly dialectically, then this is the reason, this is the most suited reason here. Otherwise you will end up having lot of thoughts in your mind, because nothing is guaranteed here. Nothing is guaranteed. The color of the cloth or design of the cloth will not guarantee any of this fulfillment of this purpose, but the climatic protection can be confirmed easily. So the rational aspect can be very much achievable. The moment you go for an irrational adoption, that is not guaranteed for its achievement, and because of that insecurity in the achievement possibility or probability, we will end up having lot of thoughts in our mind. So during the meditation process, the rational goal has to be sketched. So as I requested that a past memory, a past happy memory to be identified. Similarly, you should sketch a future goal also, but try to have that goal as rational as possible to reduce the burden of thoughts. Right? And why am I proposing this? Because the visualization in many routes of meditation are discouraged, saying that it actually generates a lot of thoughts in the mind. But if you opt a rational goal, then that is the reason how you can build your confidence also, and there is a science behind it. There is a science behind it. The next research which I am going to share here, it's called the language of the dreaming brain, and this is very important to understand, because the no visualization go in vain in terms of your confidence building. No visualization, good or bad, negative, positive, irrational, rational, every visualization has an impact to your confidence level, to your self image in the mind. Now here it is an amazing research I find that this establishes this beauty of visualization. Now let's understand this now. Now here you see, I'll zoom it. Here you see the brain from inside. It's a dissection of the brain. Now you see there are gray areas. There are gray areas and the white areas. The gray areas are nothing but the inactive portion of the brain during our meditation or dreaming or sleeping, that layer of the brainwave. Now here the inactive portion actually becomes completely blurred during our sleeping. Now you will be able to correlate the motor cortex actually governs our movements, bodily movements, but during our sleep and during the deep meditation our body becomes almost paralyzed. Our body becomes almost paralyzed. So because the motor cortex becomes inactive during that period of time, that state of mind. But on the contrary, you see at the below the cerebellum cortex, this area is actually active 24/7. This never becomes inactive. And here you see the perception of movement. Perception of movement and sensation is captured in this area of the mind, of the brain. Now, when you have that motor cortex paralyzed, but still you have this perceptory capability, and you can relate with this, that during dream, if you are falling in the dream, then you get up thinking that you are really falling. That is, the belief system is controlled. So the belief seat is this area. This area is the belief seat. Now, despite having the complete brain inactive, the belief seat is always active. Now, if we can place some proposal during that state of mind, which is very much rational and less thought, but substantial, strong thought, then that actually creates a lot of confidence within us. So that is why the rational goal, visualization of rational goal is very much important to have a better level of confidence in your life. So definitely while sketching this particular goal of your life, goal maybe not the final goal, but the momentary goal I am talking about here. So don't worry a lot about the route, that how would I achieve this, because that route, strategizing the route can be done afterwards. Just fix the goal first. Don't worry about the routes for this particular moment of meditation. Right? And you can choose to have an anchor also. This is a neuro-linguistic language, anchor. Anchor necessarily which brings back the ship to the bank. Now, anchor could be something which help you to bring back this meditative state in case you need it urgently. So for the cases of anger, this is very much effective for the anger management. If you inculcate a habit of meditation, doing meditation for a longer period of time means the 4 months you are doing meditation, this period I am talking about, not the meditation process duration. So if you are doing it for 6 months say, then you will be able to use anchoring to get that meditative state instantly. So how this is possible, let's understand. For that purpose we need to understand the classical conditioning process. Those who are teacher, they have read this in their B.Ed or maybe in the research also. The educational, this is an educational theory, learning theory it's called. A Russian psychologist actually introduced this classical conditioning, and this is a famous experiment of that. It was experimented on a dog. The dog was actually introduced with the food in the first case, where the salivation happens. The dog starts salivating in the appearance of the food. Now the dog was introduced with a bell separately. There was no salivation. Now in the third case, the dog was introduced with both the things, the bell and the food, and the salivation occurred due to the food. Now after repeated occurrence of this thing, repeated occurrence of this particular third practice, you need to repeat it. Somebody was proposing to use word repeat in yesterday ABCD method. So here the repeat comes. When it is repeated, then in absence of food also the dog will salivate if the bell rings. In the absence of food also the dog will salivate if the bell rings. So this is what is the classical conditioning. This is an unrelated stimulus and this is an unrelated response, but this response can be created if someone has this practice of combining related stimulus with the unrelated stimulus. So this unrelated stimulus will become related with the unrelated response will become related to the unrelated stimulus, right? And this classical conditioning can be used in our meditation process. See, the anchor is not directly related to the meditative state. That anchor can be your finger position, your dress, a pen, maybe keeping a pen in the pocket and just anchoring that pen throughout the meditation process. Then that unrelated stimulus will become a related stimulus in case of emergency. Whenever you will be practicing this for long, then after that, whenever there is a state of anger, you just touch that pen and think that, yeah, I need to go to that meditative state. Then the brain will automatically go to that meditative state. This is a beyond conscious phenomena. So we need to use this classical conditioning to get anchored our meditative state. Now few common anchors could be position of your hand, position of your leg, a specific dress, a specific ambience, a specific object, whatever, anything that you decide, right? Now these are the steps that I have covered. First is the physical relaxation. So we will be doing a practice of meditation. I will be sharing a clip, audio clip through WhatsApp. So you need to download it right now and you need to do it. It's a 19-20 minutes practice. Closing your eyes, putting headphone, preferably headphone or in a silence place if you can use the speaker also. So these are the steps. Those will be guided. Those will be guiding you in the process of meditation. The first is the physical relaxation. Second is the mind relaxation. Third is the joyful recollection of the past. So this is the past recollection, and then this is the joyful visualization of future. This is your goal. And then you need to decide the anchor. That anchoring also to be exercised during the meditation. The commands will be given. The dialectical commands will be there in the process. There will be pauses, don't worry. It will be these are sketched very dialectically. So unless you see you hear a command of smooth return, don't open your eyes, because that will break your meditative journey. So you will hear this particular sentence. Now slowly bring your consciousness back to your room, and only when you feel comfortable open your eyes. This is the concluding message that you will get. After that you may open your eyes according to your comfortability. Right guys, so we shall be doing this practice now, and it's 8:30. It's a 20 minutes practice, and it may increase to 30 minutes with your, if you drift to sleep, don't worry. If you drift to sleep, go and sleep, and get up whenever you get up. Don't worry about the time, because timeless sleep, the sense, without the sense of time, if you sleep, that is the best quality sleep, I tell you. So now it is 8:30. This is a 20 minutes clip. I am just transferring that. In your WhatsApp I am sending, and I am sending a audio clip and also Google Drive link. So just in case the audio clip is not downloaded, you can go to the Google Drive and download it. This will be downloaded very easily. Here you go. So this is delivered. Now just check your WhatsApp and download it and do the practice, and we'll resume the session at 10 after the breakfast. So you are going to do now the meditation practice on your own independently, putting your headphone, and you need to remember the steps that I have mentioned. It will be physical relaxation, mind relaxation, then joyful recollection of the past, then joyful visualization of the future, then anchoring. Dialectical commands will be there in the process, and there should be a smooth return. You should not jerk yourself to come back to the normalcy. It will be a transient journey. Those who are doing for the first time, it will be amazing experience, I tell you. Just share your experience after we resume the class, and all the best, right? So I'll end this session for now, and we are resuming at 10 o'clock for the next topic. Thank you.